We're starting a journey, Mohamed, without really understanding who's going to be the leader of that journey, where the leadership comes from. You understand the race right now, we all do. It's between Chairman Powell and Governor Brainard. I've been asking through the week, Mohamed, over the last several months for that matter, how much daylight there is between the two, both perception and reality. What's real and what's perceived about the daylight between the two, from your standpoint, Mohamed?
So I think there is daylight. There's daylight on regulatory issues. There's daylight on climate change. There's daylight on openness to talk about decentralized finance. So there is daylight. I think Lael Brainard embraces these three things more than Chairman Powell. There's less daylight so far, but I want to stress so far, on monetary policy. That's why I'm not a buyer of the view that the market would react very negatively to the appointment of Lael Brainard as opposed to the reappointment of Powell. I think in both cases, the market reaction will be similar on that. What we don't know, John, is how agile will they be when faced with new facts. And every day, the Fed is faced with facts that undermine its thesis, or its mischaracterization is the word I like to use better, of inflation. And that's where the political judgment comes in, and that's a political judgment that President Biden needs to make.
So, Mohamed, are you willing to endorse one over the other right now, as you see things set up going into the weekend, going into next week?
So if you force me into that situation, and I want to stress that they are both incredibly qualified and that both would be appropriate, but if you force me, I would opt for Lael Brainard. And the reason why I would opt for Lael Brainard will not surprise you, Jonathan, is because I do believe that an economist heading the Fed at this point, with the expertise and the experience she has and the foundation that she has in economics, would be marginally better. But I do respect that this is a choice that is a very difficult one. I also think that at some point, there's going to be a lot of discussion about who else is appointed.
You understand where I'm about to go next, because you're probably going to receive some pushback to that line. A lot of people would think if there's any daylight between the two, you'd expect Governor Brainard to be perhaps more dovish than maybe Chairman Powell. I don't endorse that view. That's just the view of a lot of people in this market. You want the Fed to go quicker, yet you'd be endorsing Governor Brainard. And some people might push back against that. But when I hear you speak, Mohamed, what you're saying here is that the more likely candidate to respond to the incoming data is someone that understands the economics a little bit more. Chairman Powell, the lawyer, is not that man. Is that a fair characterization of your standpoint?
Yes, it is. Because if you've had a fundamental economic training and have that, you're much more open-minded than if you are behaviorally hostage to what you've been saying for a very long time, which is inflation is transitory, there's no need to go quickly, etc.
And Mohamed, before you run, you talked about the package. Just quickly, can you weigh in on that? I'm surprised we haven't talked more about it. Vice Chair Clarida is not even being talked about going into next year, going into this decision. What do you think a package of overall nominees could look like?
I don't know, John. It's interesting that we don't talk about it enough, but potentially you have both vice chairs on you, and then you have one or perhaps two more appointments that need to be made. So this is a significant moment for the Federal Reserve, and we are focusing on the chair, understandably so, but we should also have interest in who else will be appointed.